several emails. It's 5:30 and we are started.
Comes Kim.
That was amazing.
Very awesome. I believe it's because our tech friend is in the other room waiting for us to go, all right, it's 5:30, let's get started.
Let's go.
I would love to claim timing on that, but yeah, that was a collaboration. So welcome to the June 15th meeting of the Conway Public Art Advisory Committee. Our much longer name, but more accurate to what we are doing. So this is our call to order. That's top of the line for our minutes. I see Kim walking in. We'll give her a light reprimand. Or whatever is called for within our new ordinances as we go through them. But first order of business is to, well, we have no first order of business because we don't have a voting quorum. But do
Does
look
Kim
at.
make it? Does Kim make the quorum?
Yes, technically.
Just in time, Kim.
4 out of 6, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 6 is quorum.
Yes. Yes, so we have a quorum.
I make a motion.
I would like an edit. Can I suggest an edit?
Sure.
I would just like to note that we brought up the sign, the murals and the sign situation.
Yes.
So we discussed that and brought that up.
Yes, and we have a date for that.
For what?
The new ordinance, right?
The new signage ordinance.
I think they're bringing it forward to the council on the July 26th.
I would assume it's coming up.
That's what James said, and that's the only, he said July, and that's the only meeting the council has in July, so
It must be
I'm
now.
going with that.
Yeah, it's done.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Do we need to vote to add those into the minutes? Everybody, I guess we do because we have to vote to
Friendly
approve.
amendment?
Yeah, adding in the fact that we talked about murals as signage, and we'll be looking at how that relates to the new sign ordinance.
It's low.
It's low.
So I will add that and send them back out tomorrow.
Okay.
Perfect. Tentative approval, we'll check them tomorrow for that via email and make sure that they sound good. If anybody has any objections, object via email tomorrow. If not, we will say that those are tacit approval for our April minutes, because we did not meet in May. Speaking of not meeting in May, one of the big things we were gonna talk about was the public art master plan and the new ordinance and resolutions related to our group. We have tentative updates. I guess we haven't heard probably back from James in the short amount of time.
No.
Okay. We are presumptive that they are going to be approved. We do not know yet if they have been presented to council or if they're up on the next agenda for them. We're finding out. Talks were good. Seems like we're going to be a go for all of that. And then we will start implementing that in phases from that, starting with the writing of the new ordinance. So we have the plan itself and then the parts of the plan that we'll put into pieces of action, as I understand it. So one of those things we'll talk about as far as our open projects and other business that we might look up, especially related to Dust Up, might be one of the first things that we could try out with the new, and I don't have the plan in front of me, but the internal public art committee.
So there's an interdepartmental committee.
Yes, the interdepartmental committee on public art. That maybe we can create some ideas and look at that as a pitch to look at what 2023 looks like. Kyle, Mural Shield, still waiting.
So actually, I do have a positive update on that.
Whoa.
Felicia was able to find it on another website, so it's the same product. Are we good to go ahead and order it? Are you all comfortable with that?
Yeah,
I think we had
standing
agreed on
approval from last time.
No brainer, yeah.
Yeah.
Get it.
Let's go.
Sheesh.
Perfect.
Somebody never came up with the goods?
They never got any in stock. I checked on a weekly basis and they still have not gotten any. So I'm not sure what's going on. And so she actually just happened to come across this other site and sent it to me. And I was like, okay, well, let me just make sure that it's good with them and we'll go ahead and order it. So we'll do 5 gallons. So I believe that was $495.
So we'll let Joanna in.
Oh, shoot, was I in?
Yes, it was somewhere around
Yeah, I
that.
believe it was $495.
Yeah, we've got that proproposal with the estimated tax and everything else that got approved at council.
Yeah, that was approved, yes. Perfect, so we're good to go.
Everybody's here.
Wow. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, I just put,
I don't wanna go up front.
oh, here.
It's down.
There's some papers over there.
They don't, it's like
There's some over there,
chairs are
some
super
papers.
low.
Yeah.
You need like a little more.
A little bit higher,
welcome.
then my feet would hurt.
Open projects, last time on,
Front row here now. President.
we were working on tiny toads. We needed to get an updated on the contract and progress with that.
James sent it to me and looks like I missed it when he sent it to me, but it looked okay, so hopefully.
Yes, I had sent a couple different versions to him. We went back and forth, added a couple things in there, and yeah, he said he was gonna send it to you, so I think
Well, he sent it to me
we're
like
good
2
on
weeks
our
ago.
end now, so.
I didn't see it until he sent me a note today going, what'd you think about the contract? I went,
No, whenever that happens, you just say, what did you think?
dang it, I didn't think of that.
So pursuant to the new art plan, what is our role in, like, do we need to send that to everybody to look over? Like us as a Conway Public Art Advisory Committee, or?
So my understanding for Tiny Toad specifically is that it was gonna be more between the city and the artist, so
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna go ahead and move forward with it.
Sure.
And I do have an update on, he is, moving along, he hasn't not started, so, I asked him if he could send some, just some little pictures and stuff, but he hasn't been able to, so. But I did talk to him.
He does exist.
So he's alive,
Nice.
he's
Yeah, he is working.
kicking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all good.
Cool. Well, awesome. So I guess y'all will send that Calvin's way and
Yeah.
we'll. Perfect. City sending. That will maybe help solidify in everybody that we are still good. We've got signed contracts and we're great to move forward with that.
Can I just ask a quick question about, not procedure, but, so when it's between the city and the artist, but it's essentially between the city and the artist, but it's what we all voted on, right? I mean,
Right, yeah,
it's
we've
not a-
already
Yeah.
kinda
So
approved it,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just the details.
This is just,
This
we
is
don't
more,
need
I
to-
guess, the contractual.
The
piece.
contract.
Okay, I
You know,
thought
the
so, how much
timeline.
will
Yeah.
be paid when and,
Yeah.
Well, I think some of the stuff like the
delivery and.
deacquisition stuff that we talked about, the things that we got best practices from that.
Right,
Like,
good.
I don't know if we have a chance to add that in, but I know we want to add that in into future contracts, so.
Good. Yeah. Thanks.
Poetry project.
So we had about 30 different people submit. Some of them, quite a few submitted multiple poems because they could do up to 3. I got all those to the committee last week, organized them to the committee last week, and we're supposed to meet on Tuesday. Is it next Tuesday? 27th. No, the 27th. That's not.
Monday, I believe, yeah.
It's my whole, everything's confused. On the 27th, we're going to meet to, everyone's kind of come up with their yes, no, maybe list, and then we'll come together to discuss the maybes and see what we all want to use, and then we'll be ready, hopefully in July, at the July meeting, if we can put it on the schedule, because this is June, right? July.
Yes.
We should have a list by
That's the next
July
one.
for you guys to approve, and that's what we want to do first, is have this committee approve the poems first, and then decide which ones to send along to city council to approve. And that's, I believe, the method we decided to go through. So we are coming along.
And it will be the poems, will it be like where they're going and how they're going?
Not necessarily. I think ideally we would want to approve the poems before we
Yeah.
decided where, because I don't want to spend a lot of time deciding where we're going to put a poem, in what
Yeah.
format, if you guys are like, we hate that. So, so probably, I think first step, we'll just approve the poems themselves, but I think before we go to city council, we would want to say
Where they're
the poem, the location, the
Yes.
medium, have
Right.
that ready to go before city council.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we structured that, or y'all structured that, we all did it. Y'all structured that in the proposal process to where they just submit poems and then y'all's group, then the committee decides kind of where to
Yes,
place.
we decide where and how and what medium and
Perfect.
all that stuff, so yeah.
Perfect.
But that's great. So then we can approve, y'all can decide then of the approved poems, what ideal placement, then that goes to the city, and then that answers the questions that they like to ask, like the who, what, when, where, why, the whole journalistic list of exactly where
Yes,
it's
by the
gonna
time
be.
we
Yeah, I know, it's like.
So I would hope that we could be on the August agenda for city council, because if we present to you guys in July, it wouldn't take us, I mean, we could schedule a meeting right after this meeting to discuss all that. And I mean, obviously during this meeting, we can even discuss ideas on where we wanna put them and
Yeah.
what medium we thought would work best, so. Then in August, we could get on, can you take care of that, getting
Yeah,
us on?
I will definitely check and see if we can get on there for August.
I don't put too much on you, but between the two of us, let's not forget that July, we need to have that on on the agenda for us to look at. Awesome, cool. Anything else about the Poetry Project? It's great that we're moving
Some of them I
forward.
thought were very sweet, some of the ones from children, like obviously by children, but they were very tender. And then there were some people are frustrated, whatever, clerks in stores or something, and they want to be poets. But there were, you see, even some of those were kind of, it's funny weeding through them. There'd be some
Yeah.
really sweet things to put up. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll have a good selection,
Yeah.
but yes, and that when you do any kind of writing colic, you're gonna get a wide variety of
Yeah.
talents and such.
But even the bad ones were kind of fun. Yeah.
They weren't bad, none of them were bad.
Right, they were bad. It's just,
Subjective.
it's
Right.
Subjective.
Challenging.
subjectively just not.
So yes,
good.
we are good to go.
Awesome. Glad we're moving forward. Excited to see the end results, really, of having Conwegian poetry around Conway. Great. Any other notes on either Public Art Master Plan, Mural Shield, or our open projects before we move on to other business? Perfect. Kyle, you want to lay on us the new attendance ordinance?
All right, so everyone, you should have this ordinance here in front of you. So this was passed in April by City Council. So this applies to all boards, so it's nothing specific to this one. It's for all commissions, committees, boards, everything in the city. So it just kind of lays out some new things that changed from the ordinance that had passed in 2019. Most of it is very minor stuff. The biggest thing is with attendance, which you'll see on the first page there. At the bottom of the page where it says attendance standards, and then you see there's 3 bullets there, so that'll talk about, you know, what you can have in terms of absences within a 12-month period. So you can have up to 4 now, but if you already had 4 before this was passed, you get an extra one. And so we do have one person on this board who already has 4, and Kim, you already have 4. So I can tell you what everyone has within the last 12-month period.
I
So,
feel like it would have been me.
Yeah.
and I was gonna talk about that too, because I think, did you want to drop off this year? Because your term had technically ended in January.
No, both Kim and I were
Yeah.
told that we were
Yeah,
done,
we were
that
just-
we were just staying on.
Staying on.
So
through the
technically
master
they're not
plan.
absent, they're extra.
Yeah, so- well, Kim, did you want to stay on the board, or were you also
Well, I
intending
was-
to drop off?
I told James I would until we got the
Okay,
master
until we
plan.
got
Yeah.
a replacement.
Yeah, we both had
Mhm. Yeah.
made that statement.
Okay, just making sure. I guess it's kind of a gray area because according to this, it's like you're not really supposed to be able to vote. You can still come because it's a public meeting, but you just technically can't vote,
I
so
don't
it's
think
We
kind of.
like your presence.
That's what-
Yeah, but again, they can watch it.
See, y'all.
It's- yeah, I mean, definitely there's gonna be some things that are kind of in a gray area, you know, since this just passed recently and there's, you know, different situations with different boards. So it is a little confusing, and I know it's probably something that you all haven't heard much about yet. But okay, so I guess the plan will be then that we will find 2 new people. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
Leaving us.
I will talk to James about that and see.
Yeah,
what-
well, you're not hurting our feelings.
I mean, I believe you're allowed to stay if you want, but if you want to drop off, you're welcome to do
Yeah,
that. too.
yeah, no, I think I,
Yeah. So it's totally up to you. We're not pushing you one way or the other.
We can't vote now? Is
Now?
that what you're saying?
Technically, yes, but I guess we have not been observing that. Well, this just got passed in April, so.
do you have your quorum then with us sitting here?
Yeah, you don't have quorum. so-
Well, doesn't it say that if they've already missed their 4, they get 1 more?
So they get 1 more. So yeah, Kim, you're at 4 right now.
And
So
I'm
you would
over.
get 1 extra one if you were staying on. But
That's weird. I thought I had.
so according to this is what I have is that you had missed July of last year, August, November, and December. Those are the 4 that I have. So then, let's see, for Joanna, I have 1 absence in December. Merritt, I have 3, but then you're already listed as vacant, so I guess. I'm just reading
You've been
off of
coming
yours.
for
We
nothing.
notified James that we weren't gonna be able to make it, we're still out.
Wait, say what now?
Even if we notified that we weren't gonna be able to make it to the meeting.
Well, I guess you get 3 absences within any 12-month period. So not the calendar year, but any 12 months, you get up to 3 absences if you're sick or something happened or out of town.
Oh, 'cause I've been
calendar y'all are keeping track of, how?
So we're just doing it based off the minutes that I took
Sure.
as to who's here, and it's also recorded.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it only applies for the past 12 months because beyond that really is irrelevant at this point.
And only the meetings we kept on the books, right?
Yeah, and I know back when COVID was going on, it was kind of a whole different thing. So this is just looking from this time last year until now, so just 12 months. So that's what we're looking at. So and then it says, Jenny, you have 1 absence, Ricky, you have 2, and Peyton and Rod have 0.
Wow.
Can I get like a little, like a fun maple ribbon?
And I should say, we did not penalize anyone for May, so nobody got penalized last month because we didn't have a meeting, so that didn't count against it.
Right?
So just to clarify.
You
so
all missed one, and that was
yeah, so
May.
nobody got penalized for that.
To remind everybody, this is an ordinance from April, so this
Yeah,
is
so
fresh.
We would have talked about this last month if we had met,
didn't
but
have
since
a
we didn't, we're talking about it now. And this was something that originally the mayor's office had said they were gonna send out. I'm not sure if you all have heard about the ordinance yet. So sorry if this feels like it's thrown upon you right now in the moment.
Was there not one like
No,
6
it
months
wasn't.
ago?
Like I said,
So there was one in 2019, so this amended the 2019 ordinance, which is listed.
But I
So
thought it was after COVID though, that there was maybe it was 19.
there might have been maybe a resolution or something, but this specific one amends one
So
from
even
2019.
if you had called and said, I'm not gonna be able to make it, you're still.
Well, you can have up to 3. So you can say, yeah, I'm sick, I'm out of town, or just don't feel like coming or whatever. You can do that 3 times within a 12-month
I kept
period.
getting, that's what I was telling Jenny, I'm like, I kept coming in from Little Rock and every single freaking time there was an accident in front of me, so.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, we're certainly not trying to kick anyone off. We don't want to do that. That's
No,
kind of the
but-
last resort. So
No, but I've been on
yeah.
since the inception, so
Yeah.
it's time for new blood.
Oh, yeah.
How long is a,
New blood needs to be in here.
a tenure? How long is
I
the?
think 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
been
Just
on-
about, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, and
Because,
I've
yeah, the
long,
22
I'm
ones
the
were gonna.
because it was
be
the
at
first
26,
year.
so
You were
it
on
should
the
be 4
very
years.
first one.
Yeah, I'm on the very first board.
And I came on,
That was on the very first, I think. Like the one before we started meeting in City Hall, or the one that was in the restaurant? There were some that were like, they would meet. it
I was
with
before,
the-
You were in the
yeah, in the
restaurant?
restaurant,
Yeah.
I was, and
Oh,
now
you were-
you're, yeah, I was at the very beginning, so
Mhm.
I've been long needing to probably roll off, because I believe, because of my past, being an executive director, you have to move people
Sure, yeah.
on and get new
Mhm.
fresh blood, so, it was time for me to head out, so,
Are we gonna party or?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Bon voyage. No.
Bring cake and ice cream?
There you go.
Well, per the email, we can't eat during meetings, but
It's strongly
You can
discouraged.
choose that on.
strongly
Oh, yeah, I
discouraged.
did see
The
that.
microphone will pick up the sounds, especially if there's
Ah.
something loud
Yeah,
and
that's
shit.
Yeah, we don't want to be
So-
that
Super annoying.
committee.
So
Yeah.
drinking is fine, like taking a sip of water is fine.
That's
but yeah,
usually a
eating is-
relative or something, you don't need that.
Oh, speaking of, should these be out? Are these?
Oh, no, we're good. That's if you have the TV on. That's what that's
Ah.
for. No, you don't need it for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's if we
Let us know
had-
we're broadcasting
like when
on, like,
Amanda was
3
here, we would
channels.
put those on. So that helps her to hear.
Gotcha.
So going back to the original question though,
Yes.
do we have a quorum?
So I
I mean,
believe
not we, but do you guys have a quorum?
that it was just
Two,
a majority
3, 4.
of people who are present to get a quorum. Or I guess to vote to approve something. But let me see what a quorum
Wait,
is.
you again, you said.
Well, I was gonna say that-
It's gotta be
Two-thirds.
7, right? Isn't it
Usually you
7?
have 2/3.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm no longer on the board.
Well, we ideally have a 7-member board, but I guess does the quorum count? Does the
Am I?
quorum
He
count as
said I was
active
vacant.
members
But you
versus
said
inactive
Still have
members?
that- we still have that.
4 out of,
says-
4 out of 6.
After 4 absences in a 12-month blah, 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 hang on.
You
They
have-
shall, after the adoption of this ordinance, if they already has those absences, they shall not be immediately removed. They still have 1 additional absence without removal.
Yeah.
So even if you have 4,
Oh yeah, if you have 4, you're good now. So if
No, I'm
Kim
thinking
did
he's
want to
saying
stay
I
on,
have
then you would be good
But
to stay on.
I don't
Yes.
care, I'm just trying to find out, do we have a
right, I was just
board
thinking that your vote would still count for today,
Yes.
is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's what I'm
I'm
trying to
not an
figure out.
expert.
Yeah.
I think from
Yeah.
both directions, if we do it from number of positions total as ordained, we still have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7, which I think meets our quorum standards.
So I'm looking at the founding ordinance. I was thinking like to approve the minutes and vote on stuff, you just needed to have the majority of people present to do that, regardless of how many total people there are on the board.
You may have to
heard that, yeah.
decide on, I mean, committee or Greeks might have to decide on their own what they mean by quorum. Yeah, because it means a majority, but it's different. At the college, it's 2/3.
Right.
Of the members.
So yeah, because you all don't have any bylaws listed on the website, it's just the founding ordinance that we're going off of.
I don't have any
Yeah, so there's
bylaws.
none, yeah. So
Full
that's
stop.
all I'm going off is this 2-page thing on the website, that's the founding ordinance for our board.
I'd like to use the 5-year plan as a springboard for some bylaws, so.
Yeah, I mean,
If
that might
anybody
be-
has any hard feelings about, what kind of quorum we need to have, maybe drum that up and we'll talk over that over the next couple of months and build that in.
Yeah, because I think it is kind of, again, a little bit of a gray area where it's like now we're kind of down to 5 people, but there's supposed to be 7 on the board. And
Right,
yeah,
so the question
it
is.
is a little
yeah.
confusing, I will definitely admit to that, and then you throw this on top of that. And,
What is the process currently for getting new people on? How can we aid in that process, I guess is my question.
So normally what would happen is you could have somebody nominate you, say it would be like an application process, it's gotta be confirmed through city council. It's
Y'all
very
have to-
simple, it's
Y'all
not
have to
difficult.
advertise it too?
I believe so, and there's a form to fill out, which I can get with
There is a
James
form.
and- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will talk to him, hopefully he'll be back in tomorrow and we can talk about getting 2 new people sometime soon, so we can relieve you all if you're tired
But we do
of
need
the
to think of
board.
people.
Yeah, that's what I'm writing down now.
Email, because not everybody sees it
Yeah.
on the paper. I think it's in the
Jenny,
paper and on Facebook.
Lori Pascal, I think would be interested. You did something on her for, she works at UCA, OT. I can get you her information.
Okay,
If we could also, what type of member do we need to?
So that's
solicit
the other
based
thing,
on-
because in the ordinance that Amanda had drafted, we were gonna bump it up to 4 art professionals, because it's 3 right now and 4 community members. So if we do bump that up, then we're gonna need an extra art professional, because we have 3 now, so we would need.
who are you counting as an art professional?
So I believe it's Rod, Ricky, and Joanna.
Okay, I mean
They're
technically.
listed on the website.
Okay, I
as
feel like
being-
I'm an art professional, but, so if you needed to move me to that
I mean, yeah,
slide,
maybe you could
I'm
be,
just
yeah.
saying.
And again, I'm not sure if there's
An
a
emergency
process to add
reassignment if we
someone.
need
Yeah.
And I'm saying if it helps, I can reassign.
I'm not sure if that's
I'm fine
just an
either way.
informal designation or what's needed to say somebody's an art professional.
Right.
I'll have to check again.
Yeah,
and
what
see.
is an art professional?
Yeah.
Because it's very vague in
I
here.
ask myself that every
I
time.
was gonna say, again, where the ordinance
that
is
mean?
not
Yeah, so
entirely
this
helpful.
says, so according to the founding ordinance, it's 3 members with expertise or experience in the field of art, either an art historian, a gallery director, art professor or instructor, or other art professional. But it's like, what is an other art professional? It could be a lot of things. So I think we could,
I would
look at
consider
that.
you.
Yeah.
But
I was
I
gonna
would love to
say,
have more artists. and-
Mine.
Yes, I do, I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
more artists, the better.
Yeah.
So that might be something to
My
look for
colleagues-
when we're trying to fill these
my
2
colleagues
is
don't
say,
like
maybe we'd like to get another art professional, even setting aside the.
Not,
new
you mean
one.
not in Conway?
Or even a
Yeah.
community member who's also an art professional.
But that's-
well, I was gonna say, even if they're filling the community member role, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, they have to be a resident of Conway, so they would
Right.
kind of de facto be a.
Yeah. Been those rules with us, Kyle.
But anyway, so was there any other question about this? Because I know this is kind of a lot that's been thrown on
For
you.
volunteer also.
So, any questions about the
I think
ordinance?
it all makes sense.
No,
So,
makes
I mean,
sense.
it's nothing too big that changed, it's mostly just the attendance stuff. The stuff on the second page is just conduct standards, which I don't think, nobody in here is in any violation of that, so we're good on that. But yeah, so if you all wanna keep this and just hang on to it for reference, you're more than welcome to do that. And then there's also a thing here from Felicia, which is related to this, that is just kind of talking about general kind of conduct of boards. And this, again, is not directed specifically at you, this is for all boards, so this is
Right.
something that she would like everybody to kind of follow these basic things. And again, if you wanna just read it at your leisure, it's just, being here on time, like not eating. Obviously, the council chamber stuff doesn't apply to us because we don't meet in there, but that's talked about in here. So it's just, when you see the red light, you know that it's recording, and that's how you know that anything that you say at that point is gonna be recorded and the public is able to access that and watch it. So that's what that means. So yeah, it's pretty basic stuff in here. So any questions on this one?
No.
Or any questions in general about attendance or the ordinance or anything of that sort?
Well, somebody let us know if we're getting
Yeah, so we're supposed to send you a letter here, so it'll talk about that on bullet point C here. So you're supposed to be notified, but if you're not notified, then you can still be removed. So that's not something that can prevent you from being removed. And that's how it's spelled out there.
However, notification should come from a city staff member or a chair. So
So it should either come from us or.
They'll just lock you
from
out.
Peyton and-
we'll change the code and we won't tell you, and then that'll be
I
that.
guess that was done more as a safeguard, that if somebody forgot to send out a notice to someone, you can still have them removed. But yeah, I guess it is a courtesy on our part to let you know that you're going to be
You're
kicked
on your
off.
way out.
Yeah. But again, we definitely do not want to do that. We'd like.
That's
you
what, if
all
there
to
was like
stay
a
on the
warning
board and-
before we get close.
Yeah, I mean,
'cause
that's kind of the
there's no way I
last
could do the
resort. We
math.
definitely.
I was gonna say, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Keep up with.
But yeah, so that would be the intent, is that we would let you know when you're getting close, when you reach 3 absences, that we would tell you, okay, you can't have any more until you've moved out of that 12-month window where you have 3
So,
absences.
correct me if I'm wrong, it's just a rolling 12 months, right?
It's just a
So,
rolling,
like,
so it's nothing associated with the calendar year, it's just a rolling 12-month window. So you don't have to worry about, oh, how many did I miss in this calendar year? That doesn't affect it at all, so.
I do have a quick question.
Mhm.
So I know COVID is kind of coming back around again. So like if somebody has COVID and can't come to a meeting, is it a possibility for us to call in or do a video thing? Are we allowed to do that
So
again?
my understanding is that you're not allowed to vote if you're calling in, and I will need to check on this, but I believe that they would like everybody to be here in person, and I think Felicia mentions that in her thing.
Okay.
On bullet point 7, it talks about Zoom and Teams, so that's really just for somebody like Amanda that's coming from somewhere else to present. So they would really like everyone to be here in person. And again, you do have 3 absences that you're allowed per year, so if something happens and you can't make it, then you have a few freebies. So it's not like we're gonna kick you off if you just missed 1 or something.
Can we check about that special dispensation for COVID though?
So
Just
yeah,
because,
I can check and see, because I know that kind of changes things.
listen, unlike the common cold where it's like, if I'm sick as a dog, if I'm James today, I'm not gonna come in,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'll call and let you know, I'll take one of my excused absences.
Yeah, and
Or
I guess
unexcused absences, but noted absences,
the issue
right?
would be if you already had 3 and then you got COVID, then now you're suddenly over the
Right.
threshold. If you weren't grandfathered in from the original,
I see.
having 4 before.
COVID's just weird though, in that you can get it and then
Not have any symptoms.
not have any symptoms. You could feel relatively okay, but you're in the recommended quarantine window from the CDC,
Yeah.
which I presume City of Conway would like to uphold. In which case you could participate fully in the meeting. It's just we don't want you here in the room with us.
Yes, I mean, I can check, but my understanding is you aren't allowed to vote. But again, I will check on that and see, but that was what I had heard.
Could you stand outside the window and?
Just make hand gestures.
Here, I'm
and-
here.
Yeah.
If we could get a bubble suit.
Yeah.
Step into. Okay, I was just thinking of
Yeah,
As you
but no,
said,
I mean, I think,
the times are such.
this is more just, when people are just missing meeting after meeting. Again, we don't want to kick anyone off. This is more of, a safeguard that if somebody's just not showing up at all, that it's like, okay, well, maybe it's time to look for someone else to replace their seat on whatever board or commission, not just this one. So, any other questions about this? And if you think of anything later, just email me or James, or copy him, and we can check on it and see.
Cool. Just in the general area of that, Merit and FunCam, we are confirmed. We want to look for replacements for you too.
Yes.
We were just
Okay, so
hanging on to help.
To help
So we'll get on that ASAP so we can relieve you two.
I was gonna say, like having y'all around.
Get the master plan.
And you're more than welcome to, still attend as a community member, or, still watch and be involved in the public art board. You don't have to, completely.
I'm gonna take that back. Don't watch the live broadcast.
Yeah.
You can watch the recordings,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah, you don't have to tune in right then and there. It's on YouTube forever, so.
Footnotes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will make a note of that, and I will get with James as soon as he gets back in, and we'll start going through that process to look for 2 new people.
So, thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Dust up. So, we have confirmation that the Indy protocol is in place. We cannot replace Dust Up until we have its replacement ready to go in the ground.
Okay.
However, that puts us in an interesting position, re the new art plan, where, hey, maybe Dust Up is our first foray into working with the interdepartmental committee for public art, where maybe we can present a proposal. James can take it to them and see kind of what their thoughts are about that, see if they have anything to add about what might be coming up to that particular roundabout. Because that's made up of the other that includes
So that would be the mayor's office, transportation, physical
Yeah.
planning. It would be
kind of everybody.
everybody that would be involved or anyone that would have a stake in that.
Yeah. So give us a chance maybe to think about it between now and the next meeting about what kind of ideas we might have, what things we might want to put out there. I think then we can funnel those through James to that committee to compare that against maybe what are developments on that side of town. Are there any, see if there might be some coordination plans.
No.
He's not.
One of the issues is he was a part-time employee and he became full-time. He'll become full-time 1st of August.
Gotcha.
And I actually talked to him today and said, dude, if you're gonna, he's swamped. There's no way. I said, well, maybe we could put out a call, a year from now. And he has these grandiose ideas, but it would be incredible, but there's no way.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I know.
But I mean,
real disappointed.
maybe in the future there's another project somewhere along. That,
And I think he'd be game for it. He's really super.
I love the idea of a more kinetic.
Oh.
We don't have a lot of kinetic sculpture.
We don't have
outside of
any as far as I know.
Blue Cycle, kind of,
No,
when it's not broken. But nothing that's look at kinetic and plays with the wind and the elements and all that. So kind of be thinking of what we might want to pitch as maybe a draft list of ideas or some things that we might open it up. Thematic things we might want to see there related to maybe the history of the college or the history of that area of town. And maybe some size requirements and other things. Because again, the challenge that we've
really, really clear size requirements.
Preferred because again, that's kind of what we're supposed to bring to the process, right? We're supposed to be Dust Up, great. We want to move it to somewhere where it's more fitting. The reason public outcry and everything else around that was a little guy, and that's a big roundabout. And yeah.
So in order to not to speed things along, so for a normal or a new project, I can see, trying to get somebody to commission to design something specifically for it, but because of this, we'd like it replaced soonish and, try to speed things. Do we want to do a RFP for an already done piece of work, somebody's work that's already done that can go in here that meets these requirements, that, is so big or whatever?
You have something in mind?
Huh?
You have something in mind?
No, But, there's all kinds of artists and temporary, I'm assuming they have bodies of work.
Why wouldn't we just put out a call?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So should we go ahead and
Or-
put out a
or-
call to
or
say,
already
hey,
made.
Yeah.
what was that? They used a word for it in the master plan thing. I'll have to go back through her master plan. There was a word for it. It was a piece that was
Already
already
created.
not on loan, but not temporary. I'll think of the words.
So somebody's got something and you're like,
Yeah.
show us what you got and maybe we'll put it there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we just put out a call for ideas for people to make something?
yes.
So then
It
it
would
takes.
just
Then they have
long
to
take
build
the
that
time
in.
to produce.
The thought
Yeah,
was
okay,
to,
yeah.
get it kind of.
But maybe we could do this, and if we don't get anything,
Then we.
then
Or
we could do the
this
other
can be a
versions.
rotating sculpture, I don't know. I'm trying to
Ah.
speed it along to say, okay, we're gonna put a piece of roundabout art here for 5 years and then give it back.
Mhm.
How long has it been there?
Too
Or
long.
move it?
Maybe 5 years.
Yeah. So we did it on purpose.
Yeah, well, it was.
Or something.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we were always gonna move
This
it.
is rotating sculpture. So I didn't know if we wanna look at those kind of
That's an interesting
options.
idea.
My only concern with that would be the amount of money, what is the cost of
Yeah.
hiring this for 5 years? But then we have to do it all over again,
Yeah, I
and over a
agree.
period of 25 years, do we waste money and not have
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
permanent in that
Is
location?
it cheaper
Or
to
do
do
you move
already?
it?
Or move it to
Is it-
another
is it-
location,
Do
yeah.
you have some installations that move, that will
That-
always,
And they go to
you
a
still
park
purchase it, but it
Okay,
moves?
so that would be a very
A
different
different
scenario.
roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a different scenario, but it's a thought.
I feel like we have such a limited budget, we need things that
Yeah.
make our budget.
Especially if, and there'll have to be the work done by who does it before, did the concrete pads and stuff on the Christmas ornaments? Or what, not, the
The physical plan or
The
like
hindrance.
the light things. No, well, you remember we've done part
Ah,
of
Light
Light things on Salem and.
yeah, and a chunk of that was for all that prep
Yes,
Knowledge.
yeah.
went in. So whenever, so like Dust Up has a concrete pad and it's
Mhm.
bolted to that, so that would, you know.
But that
whenever-
would be a part of our kind of requirement is it's gotta fit
That it
on
has
this
to be
pad and
removable.
attached
Oh, that'd
this
be
way.
interesting. Well, that might be.
We probably have to add a couple other
attached this
attachment
way.
points, just because, again, relative size.
Well, it could be just taller, fill up that whole pad.
That's true.
It doesn't
Chicken
quite.
wire. So, yeah, I didn't know if we need to start thinking about those parameters to put out an RFP.
I think we should.
Be a worthy exercise in either direction, because either we put out an RFP for an existing piece of work,
Yeah.
or we put that into rotation for early 2023, get approved in budget, all the other fun stuff.
I want it in by like 2022.
We all do.
Yes.
July 4th.
Trying to figure out ways to, you
Can we
know.
build onto it?
This will be y'all's legacy.
More Tetris
It'll be-
Right now, yeah, whoa.
Realistically, we have 5 meetings.
Right.
So
And so that's
what can we do
why-
in 5 meetings related to getting that RFP out there, knowing we don't have a process ready right now, so 4 meetings to
Mhm.
actualize.
Yeah.
So
Could we like decide on a direction tonight?
Direction like
Like-
thematic or something?
Or like existing or new or rotational or
Yeah.
temporary or, I don't know. A big,
I'd say we look at existing just to,
Just to speed up the process.
I don't think we,
I
I don't think,
we can't talk.
because we have.
I thought I heard something in the room.
Because of the new guidelines that we have, the protocols and stuff that are in the new guidelines, I don't think we have to worry about. If we wanna move it, we move it.
That's right.
So I don't think we have to say, well, it'll be 5 years. If it's our 5 years and the next people on the committee come in, and they go, yeah, we're tired of it.
I think the only thing that you have to put into the contract is that it is removable,
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
so that it.
At
you-
discretion of.
Yes,
Mhm.
and that you
City
don't,
and-
city, yeah,
But
because,
that'll be every contract from now on, won't it?
yeah.
Because the-
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
play.
was just gonna say, I would be fine with doing existing as long as we were purchasing and not
Yes.
borrowing.
Yes.
Or what am I saying, trying to say, renting.
I was gonna play a little bit of devil's
Um,
advocate, or I guess just present alternate plans, not devil's advocate. For requesting a new design. And only because we have a unique opportunity here where we have an approved site, basically, that
Oh,
we can then recommend some specifications for, and then test drive this whole new process. Because
Yeah.
if we do test drive this process and we're a few months later in putting out the request for proposals, we get it into the budget cycle, and that's a real test to see if we can maybe do something and get some, maybe there's additional budget funds we can add beyond what we have stored up in the bank. Because that was the original intent, right? Like, we wanted to be able to bring these ideas forward to the budgetary process to maybe not be constrained only by what we saved up, but also to work that into the city's budget for that year. And this would be a good test case for that. And we might be able to, combined with some of our savings, maybe find some other things and, really put that to the test, let James sell it with the other groups and see if there's some things that we can work together on to build up. And then maybe get a really nice bespoke piece of art for that spot.
Is that location where we'll spend a lot of money? Visibility was?
I thought that was kind of also hindrances, kind of, do they not care anymore? Is that not a thing?
That's interesting. If it was giant letters that spelled out UCA, they might care.
Right.
I don't know what that deal is there. I think the agreement
They
is
maintenance it?
Hendricks,
I
they
thought-
maintain.
Yeah, I
they
thought
do
they
now.
had some say in the choice of the art
Yeah,
back
cause that
then.
was the Hendricks roundabout.
Right,
Yes.
right, it was a first roundabout in Conway, you're welcome. I can ask about that, yeah, find out, I'm
Yeah.
not
It should be
sure.
in our,
And I think
shouldn't it
they
be in the
want
files
to-
somewhere?
Or do what?
Shouldn't it be in the files somewhere?
Yeah.
Because I do believe there was some
That
kind
was
of
a city agreement.
a
They must
city
have
agreement
something
with
there,
with
yeah.
UCA. You'd
I
have to
can check
look
and
that up.
see.
Because I think that was, they had to have some kind of say in the choice of the art.
That's what
It must be, because of.
Yeah.
But
that
the
was
question is,
because
I
they
guess-
did the prep for it. They
Yeah,
did
I was gonna say, was
design.
that an olive branch or some additional?
But does that mean that
Yeah.
continues and follows whatever
I
piece
think
of
it
art we
was a
put in?
one time.
I mean, it's city
I
property.
think they do, it's city property,
I think Hendricks
wheel and
mows it.
sculpture,
and,
but they maintain it.
Yeah,
yeah.
mow and water it, yeah.
Well, it can just be, we absolve them of that need and work with physical plant to make sure we put that back on rotation for city needs. And then,
Well, I can
But
ask
still
the
check.
president, I mean, it's,
I mean, still check, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we've got alternatives in place that
Yes.
it's,
If
I mean, it's not
if it
like we're gonna
doesn't.
put some grossly offensive thing there that is gonna embarrass the college and it could, I don't know what could embarrass the college more than what's in place, but.
I personally like that roundabout as a space because it's not directly downtown.
Yeah.
It's near a lot of neighborhoods where there's not a lot of art. It is right next to Hendricks. It's just down the road from the library. Like I feel like it gets a lot of mix of foot traffic, car traffic.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
for sure.
Yeah,
I think
it's a fun, it could be fun, you know, could be anything good.
I do think that's a good point about this is our first opportunity to really show how we can operate
Yeah.
in this
And
new
it's in a
system.
spot we know they're
And
not gonna
so-
be like, we can't use that spot.
Right.
We can use that spot, we're just waiting for a new
Right.
artist to go in there.
I think about,
And that way, if it is new, they have to kind of conform to what's there as far as the, because we wouldn't want to increase the size of the pad.
No, but there's some, well, I mean, we could put new attachment points or pads down around, cause it's just the one. It's been a second since I've personally driven past it, but I think it's just the
One
one
pad.
one pad.
Yeah,
right
you could
there.
add around it and
Yeah,
It's not that big.
it's
we could be minimally intrusive and work with the artist on whatever. Cause the man pad would work for something that wants to go up and around, and we might just need to do additional kind of pylons or pillars.
Yeah, it could be just going, somebody could go for height. And,
So, going
One
new.
giant I-beam, 70 feet tall.
So going new?
New,
Existing.
I'll go with new, I like that
okay.
plan.
Yeah, I'm
Go open it up.
leaning that way.
Yes.
New test drive our,
Proposals, yeah.
Yeah.
So by next month, do we want to have somebody come up with a suggested height, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah? Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to have like a RFP to review by next month. Is that crazy? Crazy?
I think
Talking to
we could do
you?
that.
Probably crazy.
I can't make any promises.
Kyle's
Let me check with
excited
James
about
first.
Yeah.
We can
But-
shoot for that
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
tentative.
At least
goal.
if we can kind of talk through the ideas today and then you get into more details and then review it and finalize it. Cause yeah, let's do this.
it seems like we're all on the same page, let's propose a new artwork goes in.
Would we want to give a theme or like a general concept or just a free for all?
I think a free for all.
Yeah, I think we just see what.
I think limit size and then come up with. So to me, the other
Have it meet
thing,
a scale.
yeah, would be
Right.
budget.
I wanna speak,
I think we do it
a little worried about free for all.
giant.
I think you do.
Perfect.
I think if you open it all the way up, yeah, I don't know what you're gonna come up with there.
So what do you mean? You
well,
wanted,
I don't
say
know.
sculpture?
Well, I want
Which
it to be
obviously.
I want it to be something, it's my own take, is there's a lot of public art out there that people go, ooh, it's public art, and it doesn't mean anything, it's some,
Yeah.
blah. And it's just something expressive, but it's movement and motion, And I mean, that's okay, I guess it has its place, I
We
have
can
some problems
say,
with that, but.
But
it
you
needs
can
to have some
deem it-
movement and motion,
Yeah,
it
you
can
can-
have
Or it needs
some
to have
kinetic,
a-
some.
But what I mean is, no, I mean.
You want it to have meaning to Conway?
Well, public art reflects public values. That's what public art's about. And I think been in many cities where there's lots of public art that nobody cares about and a lot of people are laughing at. And then frequently gets taken down and and the artist is insulted and normal people are like, what, I don't, it's just some weird colors and blocks of something. So it doesn't have to be, it could be something really exciting and dramatic, but if we have a chance to do something that
Yeah.
connects to Conway in some
Well, I think
way.
that maybe meets the mission or we just did this with the master plan,
Yeah.
right? I feel like there's some words out of the master plan we can
It can
take that
show the
say it
values.
has
Yes.
to do
A
this.
little
Yes.
more focused.
And I don't think it even has to relate just to Conway, but
Yeah, no.
come up with some type of, that's
Something-
kind of where I was going for. I mean, if we're just doing a free-for-all, then why wouldn't it be okay to have one that's already been created, you know? Like,
Right, yeah.
we can come up with, does that make sense? But I like the idea of pulling, because we did kind of put some words in there about what do we want from our public art. Maybe we pull one of those phrases out and say, we want this sculpture to be about that particular thing.
And then propose what you, wish on it.
Yeah, sounds good. It doesn't have to be limiting, but I think it could be more focused and we'd come up with something that I think would be appreciated by a lot more citizens.
For sure.
I think.
Because I think like, I don't know if it's collaboration or community, or, I mean, even just a word like that, community could be 1,020
Different things.
Yeah, totally different
Right.
things, but there's the concept of community that kind of narrows it down. I don't know. Or collaboration or
That's good.
COVID, I'm just joking.
COVID.
COVID.
Survival of the fittest.
Do we need to put a budget on it? How much do we wanna spend on it?
So that's the big question, right?
How much did y'all spend on the one on Friends?
$60,000, $60 bucks.
60, and did that include the site prep? I think there was a chunk of that.
Should have,
I
but
wanna
did
say like
not.
5 or 10 or
Yeah.
something, right? But
But was intended to. Hence the more careful contracts as we move forward.
And we have this 229,000 right now. Can I suggest 100,000?
I was gonna suggest 100,000.
Dadgum.
Great
I better
minds.
get some damn fine work. But it can be pretty.
100,000, but maybe we
That
do,
includes everything,
that includes everything.
lighting, power.
And we see if we can get some additional
uh,
funding lines, maybe. Cause again, that was not to throw too many new things at new structure all at once, but that was again the intent, right? Was to see if there's some other room in the budget we might be able to. So,
Oh.
You mean like go to city council and say, hey, can we get some additional funds?
yeah, maybe we say we for sure are funding 80,000. We wanna put 80,000 of our existing budget in. We wanna see if we can, in coordination with other city departments or city budget in general. In so much as city art is important enough to have a board and an interdepartmental committee, see if we can raise the other 20,000.
And.
From the
also-
city, not from
Right,
private.
because
From the
Felicia
city.
said we could go and ask for additional funds at any point.
And that gives us a healthy amount still in reserve.
In 2025 is the 150th celebration of Conway. So that might be something that we could throw in to
A
really
big one,
make that kind of a,
Oh, we gotta get it in by 2025.
well, I mean, that. Yeah, by then, maybe.
I would like this in 2023, to be honest.
Get it in and then the whole year we can celebrate that.
What a cool synergy of having for the 150th?
150, 175, right?
But how cool would it be for the
Somebody do the
150th
math for me.
art piece to go into the first roundabout
Yeah.
in the city of roundabouts?
So Chris, when is UCA and all that, the chamber planning to do their roundabout art?
Oh yeah, when is that going on?
I can check on the timeline.
We have no oversight into that, Kyle. We have no knowledge.
I have not heard any recent updates. I'm guessing it'll be still a bit longer. It looks like there's still some construction that needs to be
there's a lot.
done.
So maybe we still their thunder and
Yeah.
we aim to have it, maybe that's the thing, is we aim to have it installed by 2025.
Oh, goodness.
It feels like a long time. I know it's not when it
It
does in the
does.
city, but.
Not even a hardly.
Because we gotta think, we gotta get the proposal out there, budget approved.
So, yeah, if we're gonna do all of that and take 2 years to do it.
It's not 2 years.
3 years, however many years, I don't know
It's
what day
not.
it is.
2.5.
2.5.
I don't know if,
Okay,
I'm still not sold that that's the location to
Do your 25
Have a
years.
do
big
your
time.
big
Agreed.
I don't
thing.
think so.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm thinking the
Needs to be
art,
closer.
It needs to be more
one of the ones
close to
that they
downtown.
identify in the thing that we can get, it's gonna take a lot of people to get behind and do it and get everybody excited about it.
But we
and all that
should
stuff.
start thinking about that now, so that's a good
I'm-
note,
I'm all for it.
solid note. So for our
But-
first roundabout, for this next, for a shorter term,
Yeah.
So
shorter
like
scale.
the dream roundabout. Sure,
Which
let's
is
run
where-
it along the same time, but let's do like a practical, get it done.
Which is where
I'm not sure where the
Be done
dream
with it.
roundabout
The perfect
And I feel like that would also be-
is. For sure, I'm not sure which
the
one's the dream one.
anniversary one, we could
Yeah, that's fantastic.
definitely pitch to
Yeah.
the city for more money.
Well, that was my other thing too, like if it's
Yeah.
that, then let's,
That should be the big splash.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we could ask for more money for both. I'm just saying, I think we could ask for even more money for the big, like,
The splash.
anniversary.
yeah. Huge thing. Shoots fireworks. Makes no sense.
Yeah, there should be all kinds of ones. But Hendrix one, I don't know about asking for more money right now because we already have other art going on with the city and the budget and the changes and the master plan. I'm a little bit worried about asking for more money. Now, I'm all for asking private or, you know, I would lean more towards using up what we have saved up, because that's why we have stuff saved up, versus trying to, for this roundabout. Now, I'm all for it for the magic and the things, Disney
And the
World.
festival.
roundabout.
Well, if we
Yeah.
ask for 100, if we use 100,000 of this 230 now and aim for sometime end of 2023, hopefully to have this one installed. And sometime during this next 9 months, we
Like,
start
we
the
can do them
process.
both at the same time,
Yes, we start the process for the
We-
big one, go to
yeah.
the city and ask for more money
Use-
for that one.
Yeah.
So my
and use
question
this-
is,
Sorry.
okay, so if we set a precedent of $100,000 on this one, what are we looking at, some of the bigger ones? that
Yeah.
are Really
Yeah,
bigger.
for the big
Mhm.
one. If you really wanna do a big one in
But I mean,
2025, what will that
Well,
one be?
Or
Will
maybe,
that be 200,000? Because
Well, that's, I mean, Amanda
I
was
think
talking about
it's-
most of the roundabout
Square.
art is
Yeah.
250, I mean, like.
So that's where my mind went to,
For
was
the big-
200, 250,000.
so this might be a chance for this committee to show the city, look, this is a big time project, we're trying to, well, the other one's 60,000, that's not a drop in the bucket, I mean, so, but to say, hey, here's 100 grand, we're gonna do this, we'll do a big time thing, and then we're gonna have this big splash in 2025 for 200,000 or whatever.
And then in the interim, we do, you know, we fall back to that smaller project guideline stuff that we talked about, the stuff that's high impact but low cost. Partnerships like we were, pursuing of getting on the next agenda too, maybe the partnership with, I forgot his name already.
Creative, Nick,
Yes, Nick and the Creative Institute, where we talk about ways that we can be more active in the community, just with helping stuff like Art Walk and those sorts of things, and what we can bring to the table for that. Then we have a nice undulation of big project, year or two where we're cooling it, smaller projects still active, and then rise up to another big project. In this case, huge project capitalizing on the 150th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We want to self-fund
self-fund and try to
the
keep
Hendricks
it,
roundabout.
yeah.
Do we want to keep that at 100,000, or do we want to go lower now that we're self-funding?
Yeah.
I like 100,000, I'm sticking with it, but.
Yeah.
No, but I agree, it needs to keep everything, it needs to include
There you
everything.
go, up
like,
to.
Yeah,
Travel, like if they need to travel, like everything is in that 100,000.
gotcha. So how does that feel to
Expenses
everyone?
paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Up to $100,000
Everything's paid.
You
inclusive.
have an already done piece, you can, yeah,
You can submit
you
it.
can submit it, yeah.
If
Yeah, we don't
fits.
If
care.
it means
That's-
community,
If it fits with
whatever that
we-
word is
yeah.
that you choose, then
Are-
yeah,
Are we
that,
choosing that word?
I like
I
it.
think we just pull it out of our community is a good word
Careful.
too.
Isn't it?
Pull it out of the
Yeah.
master plan.
I think she said it was in there.
I don't know, I was just making words up.
Yeah.
No, that's good, that's
Yeah.
it.
It was community minded. We wanted the art that,
Minded.
Yeah.
and we wanted it to be something that brings the community to the art and lets people know that we have art here. and encourages it to be that, so.
art for all or whatever, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird, but that was what I took from it.
All in favor of a community theme for our up to $100,000 all-inclusive Hendricks Roundabout art project?
So,
Aye.
We didn't
what
really have a
else do you
motion,
need?
so that was very
What
informal,
other
but-
information would we need for an RFP?
Well, are we good with the 100,000?
Up to.
Okay, up to, and probably some sort of size constraints, just so we're in the
yeah.
ballpark. Because otherwise we might get something very tiny or huge.
Yeah.
And we're
For
right
sure.
back to square one.
We had put some, when
To
we
go
were
measure.
presenting the Naples idea,
Mm-hmm.
I had put some in that proposal that had gone, I can't remember what it was though, that everyone
Needed
seemed
to
to
be
think
to
that
scale.
size, but I cannot remember what it was, to be honest with
I
you.
think we push it on the artist and we say, we could include the dimensions of the roundabout. And we could say a couple of things like, it needs to be scaled appropriately for the
Yes.
space.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also some traffic issues, right? Like it can't have red or green lights.
Mhm.
And I don't know about other things like it made me worry a little bit when we were talking about the kinetic piece there. Can you have flickering,
I don't think
fluttering?
so.
I
so.
think some traffic people might have something to say about
Safety
it.
Hey, what a
wise-
perfect
safety-
question for our interdepartmental
Yeah.
subcommittee.
Safety wise, they really do not like you to have things that, I mean, even
Yeah, that makes sense.
signage wise.
Right, it's distracting.
I would imagine they don't want anything that's flashes or changes colors.
But
would be my
even
guess.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
right.
moves
What
a
if,
lot.
what if it has
Shiny.
arms that move and?
So something that's community minded, but
It
status.
definitely needs to be contained
Yeah.
within the roundabout. It can't be
Yeah,
hanging
it's-
over,
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
spilling out. It's
Most-
got,
Nothing that like
it's got to be
Like
squirts
within
your
water
neighbor's street.
occasionally in oncoming
It
traffic.
can,
I mean, I think just to save time and not waste people's time, I think if we give a minimum and a maximum, like height,
Yeah.
width, that way you have to stay within these parameters, it gives
There you go.
people ways to move, but we're not wasting our time with somebody who presents a
yeah.
too small or way too big.
There must be a height, some kind of weird height issue. I
And
don't
white,
know.
and how wide it would be, and it,
I
and
think
it
it's the
can,
width, yeah.
yeah, I think the width would be, like, I can't see past that to
Get around them.
get around
No, you have
roundabout.
visibility concerns for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there'll be
yeah, that's what they're
visibility,
supposed to
safety.
be, but you may have noticed some of the some of the
Yeah.
roundabouts don't do that. And some of them have big giant trees planted in them that will be bigger.
Well,
Yeah.
no, they don't want you looking through them. Like you don't supposed to see.
I was
down
gonna
the
say,
middle.
yeah, it's what's coming.
That's the theory
coming.
behind them is you're supposed to look to your only
Yeah,
to
as
your
long as you
left,
can see. Yeah.
not in
Yeah.
front of
But
you.
that only works when the roundabouts are large enough.
Ah,
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, like this one, you got like the brick island around
Right,
there too.
right.
It can't be
Yeah.
spilling into that
Right,
either, cause
right, right, right.
semi trucks have to use that and things, so.
So can we then work with James to convene that interdepartmental council to think about some of those restraints and constrictions that we need to be aware of?
Oh, yeah, we can try to set up a meeting. We'll probably have to get Kurt from transportation involved, just
Yeah.
because I'm sure he'll wanna probably know what's going on, and I'm sure he'll have some suggestions in terms of, can we have flashing or moving or,
Right,
whatever,
right.
things like that, so.
Well, especially those folks that, have maybe never been asked their opinion before about what public art goes into those
Oh,
places.
yeah.
Well, and then my other thought too is if we can get them to also work with us on what is some of our min and max, like, what are the actual dimensions of that roundabout versus how much we can do outside of that. And if we could get, this is just personally for when we put the call out, presuming all this other stuff falls into place, like I hope it will. If we could get some photos to include with that like maybe mock up and show what the actual dimensions are and that
Oh,
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
I think if we could get Bobby to get like a drone picture or something. and
So great.
Then we could mark it up on the photo of like, this is how
Yeah.
wide, this is
Yeah.
how much space you have lengthwise.
When we did our art competition up on the mountain, we even included, like, we had a 3D scan, like we had a 3D camera that you could then kind of walk into the space and look around and see.
Oh, that's cool.
If we could do something like that even, that would be the plus extra thing. But definitely photos and like some,
Oh, for sure.
some
just so they
overlaid
know what the site
measurements.
looks like.
yes.
Do we want any materiality constraints? Should we leave that open, or what do you all think?
Man, I think you leave it open, but maybe something like durability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was from back in
Maintenance.
the
That'd be a
Wood.
cardboard.
Not
Yeah.
wood.
Something that will
That could-
hold up to the elements.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I think that's
Metal.
a given, but
Right, but
Maybe we should include it just in case.
Yeah, it's just in case somebody gave you cardboard.
don't ever assume it's a given.
I made paper mache. It's really magnificent. Yeah.
Glass, yeah.
Great.
I feel like we did some of it in the RFP for the one, so that might be at least some ideas.
Something to go back to.
Mhm. Or start with, yeah. Okay, anything else? And maybe by next month, maybe review draft. Nothing's happening. Everybody's here.
Not sure what
What happened?
We bored our tech person there. And I guess the other thing that we could maybe squeeze into that interdepartmental meeting is like, we're not gonna plant trees that are gonna grow in front of the art piece and obscure it from view and make $60,000 kind of obscured from the public. But I mean, that's the kind of coordination we've missed in the past, which is why that happened
Right.
And that might be a
to
good one
Event
to
Horizon.
coordinate with the tree board because, obviously
Yeah.
they're very much into planting trees, so I think maybe some coordination would be.
That crazy
good.
tree board. But yeah, I mean, if we could talk with them, cause that opens the door down the way to some cool, like, let's integrate trees to a sculpture or something and like do a collab.
Yeah.
But yeah, would hate to do that, and then they're eyeing that like, that needs a juicy elm right in the middle, right here. And, yeah,
Genetic sculptures.
A juicy elm.
I know, it's like.
That's
right.
as opposed to your non-juicy elm.
We don't want a non-juicy elm there. I mean, it's a kind of a showy place. Cool. Any other considerations for our Hendrix $100,000 inclusive, weather-resistant, community-themed roundabout piece?
Very exciting, very exciting.
Yep, let's do it.
Love it.
Awesome. Cool. Pursuant to new topics to maybe carry forward to next time, let's keep 2025 on our radar. Only because if we do ask for an appropriate level 150th art piece, that's gonna need some planning and some thought. And lots of coordination with other city departments, especially if we're gonna ask for a little chunk of change. Yeah. So sooner the better.
Really good idea that. Who did that? Who said that? You get extra. You get extra money, extras.
That's a good thing.
Extra gold stars.
Your salary packet.
We take off some of your absences for that.
You know what? Just 2
Please
absences so
play,
far.
please play.
Awesome. Well, cool. I feel good about that. Thank you, Kyle, also for coordinating
Oh, sure.
some of those questions and getting us back some of the info for next meeting. Because then, yeah, if we have those answered, we should be 90% of the way to rolling it into an RFP and getting it, getting it out there. Because we've got the money, we've got the time, and there are artists out there that will do that. Sweet. Any notes on murals as signage? Do we have an update on that? Just that the ordinance is changing and coming out soon.
And that's gonna be at the July.
I will check and see. I'm not sure when it is, to be honest.
Do we need to be there? I think probably it would be.
The issue about what counts as like signage for.
Yeah,
So we're
businesses.
redoing the sign ordinance,
Yeah,
yeah.
There's a new, we've got, with the folks, there's several different people wanting to do murals and things, and then it's conflicting with the current sign
Is it
ordinances.
sign or is it?
So what is being
art?
accomplished at the meeting?
Supposedly the
Defining what
new,
the sign is, yeah.
well, I think there's a whole new sign ordinance.
There's a whole new one.
Yeah.
So it's already been created,
I believe it's just about there.
okay.
I don't know. I haven't been too involved with that. I know they're working on it, but I'm not sure how far along it is.
So it will be presented to city council at this
Eventually,
meeting?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to know when that meeting
Yeah.
is.
So theoretically, the same challenge might be in there, but we won't know until it's passed or approved.
Well, I mean, you got the city council meeting to.
Yeah.
Talk about it and review about it.
So I guess standing question, that happens before our next meeting in July, right?
No, it's the last meeting, because they don't have it early July, they only have one meeting in July.
Gotcha.
When is that meeting?
The July the 26th, 28th, 26th. That was 26th.
Yeah, I believe 26.
And I guess this is a question for the folks working on that ordinance. I didn't know if there was any chance for coordination on that or seeing if there was
I
any
can
feedback possible.
Check and see. Again, I haven't been involved at all in writing it, so
Yeah.
I'll check and see, but my understanding was that it's pretty far along already, so there's probably not a whole lot of room left, but I can check.
Our main thought is it is on the periphery of our purview. However, in so much as we make recommendations about how to make Conway more artful, there are some thoughts with how do we protect the integrity of downtown facades while also opening up the possibility of thematically appropriate art not beholden to the previous sign ordinances really strict limits on things.
But there are other cities that have extremely strict signage laws and they have great art.
And that's kind of our thought.
Moving to B, and that they have extremely strong
Yeah.
signage, so I think that there would be ways to
Oh, yeah.
take a look at that.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of art there.
So our next meeting is it July 20th?
Let's see, so it would be the third Wednesday would be, yes, July 20th. At 5:30 in here.
Will we have cake and ice cream at that meeting?
That would be nice, but unfortunately
When's
I
Felicia?
don't
No
do
eating.
that. No, we can't eat, we can drink.
Cover
but
the
no eating.
microphones.
Yeah.
Are we to be there or?
I'm assuming not.
So let me check with James. I guess, yeah, you all are probably good to not
We don't
come
have to, it
since
would
you're
just
gonna be
be
rolling
if
off
we
anyways.
personally
Or off already.
Yeah, I guess technically you're already on.
I don't think we
So-
represent the art board, it would just be, just if we personally
guess-
have opinions, yeah.
Yeah, if-
Meeting to the city council meeting,
Yep.
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I will check, but I think you all are good to drop off. Thank you all for serving on the board.
oh,
Thank you so
you,
much.
yes.
So smooth.
Weirdly historic surprise occasion at this meeting. So, awesome. We'll check in on that again. Just trying to greenlight cool things. Our basic modus operandi across the board, which sometimes does not work with stacks of bureaucracy. Making sure also that we don't have rampant tires 2 for $1 on the sides of buildings either, which we get that, but trying to make way for cool things and pretty images. Awesome. That said, any other new business that we need to attend to, talk about, cover?
Can Nick from the Creative Institute come to the next meeting to discuss how we could collaborate on Arts Walk and other things? Is that okay?
I'm open to that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will see if he can attend that day.
Only if it's in the form of an interpretive dance. He's at the Creative Institute. He should be able to pull something off.
Raises the bar.
Wow.
Awesome. Add it to the next agenda for a pretty packed July meeting. Pretty good meeting this time. So thank you all so much for your time. It is 6:37. We are 7 minutes over our hour-ish meeting schedule. With that, I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
Awesome.